So size and shape specifiers are descriptive classifiers. Describe, or they are descriptive adjectives or adverbs. They describe physical characteristics, shape, texture, size. Examples of size and shape specifier could be a classifier 1 that represents something round and thin. Example, a pencil. Classifier B could represent a paper or book. A bent V classifier can represent a person who is seated or a chair. The classifier G can represent trim or a frame or the border of something. Classifier C represent a cup or cookies. Classifier F is used to represent smaller round objects. Semantic classifiers represent nouns and their location or movement. So it can represent where a person is located, how they moved, examples can be a person falling forward, sitting facing you, or lying on their back looking up. Examples, classifier 1 can represent a person and the action of that person. Classifier B can indicate a person, again, and the action of that person, for example, walking. The third category is body classifiers, where the body is actually used to describe a look or an action. Body part classifiers are used to describe parts of the body and their action by using hand shapes and appropriate movements. This is generally done representing the lower part of the body. Legs and feet can be represented as running, jumping, crossing of the legs. Instrument classifiers are used to describe how objects are handled or manipulated. An object can be tossed, caught, or thrown. Locative classifiers indicate spatial relationship. And it represents the location of one object compared to another. So we use classifiers when we want to describe something, whether it's an object or an action, or to give directions, to share information about surroundings, or as a part of a story. There's several rules you need to follow when using classifiers. I've mentioned you must designate what the classifier is representing first, or your listener will have no idea what the classifier is. You need to do this by fingerspelling or signing the referent for the classifier. An example, before you would use a classifier to represent a ball with green and yellow stripes, you would need to sign the object. And then you could use, for example, an S classifier to represent the ball. You also need to choose an appropriate classifier with an appropriate relationship between what the referent is and the nature of the classifier. When you are using descriptive or size and space specifiers, you also need to use appropriate non-manual markers, facial expression, and body language. And you should choose a classifier depending on what the referent is and what you intend to, the characteristic of the referent you intend to focus on.